The new Orks detachment, the Tactical Brigade, has been out for a couple weeks now. We've had the opportunity to get our feet wet, maybe play some practice games with some friends and things like that. Maybe you feel like you don't like it. Maybe the units and actual detachment itself is not your style. Do you prefer Warhorde? Do you prefer Bully Boys? Or have you transitioned to the big hunt? Today on Ops, episode 32, we're going to break down 3 winning army lists from across the world with this new detachment. We're going to break down some strategies, some understanding, and help you better understand this detachment. Maybe you'll take it, maybe you won't. Stay locked in and tuned. All right, my peoples. And if you don't mind, before we get started, please make sure to like this video for the wall, of course. All right. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get into it. So, this is an actual event called the ProCon Golden Ticket GT. This event actually had quite a few participants. Dark Angels ended up taking this over. But as you can see here, we have Damian Hall, who took Orks, only lost his first game, right? He did and performed very well for his remaining games. So he played 5 rounds entirely, lost his first game at 78 points. When he lost it at 78 points, he actually ended up playing into this faction right here, all right, which was the Gladius detachment, which was the Dark Angels player. It looks like he took it all. All right. So very, very good. Kudos to this individual. It looks like he really had the opportunity to do very well. Yeah, Sean Sharp is actually the Dark Angels player who won it entirely. So he lost to him in the first round and ended up winning the entire thing for the Dark Angels. But we're here to talk about the Orks, not the stinky chaos. All right. So let me go ahead and break down this list for every single body. All right. So we're back at it at Damian Hall's Orks Tactical Brigade detachment. 1,995 points. Um, Very nice. It looks like he has a warlord. He has 3 characters. His warlord being the big mech and mega armor. We talked about this, or if you haven't been hearing about this, right? The big mech and mega armor is kind of a newfound unit, even though I've used it before for flash kits and things like that. But people are really starting to use it for this list, especially that it benefits it, right? The big mech gets the opportunity. First of all, he does a lot of buffs, right? So if you put him into flash kits, he allows you to reroll once, regardless of all the orders that we have or stratagems, excuse me, right? But he allows the ability to reroll once to hit in the shoot for shooting. He also brings back an entire model every command phase, which is very, very strong, specifically for the flash kits. I might try that out instead of actually trying out the shock attack gun, right? Shock attack gun seems great, but you already have all that shooting in that unit. If you can get a defensive piece or an assistive piece in that unit to bring them back and keep them around for the entire game, that can really tip the scales for your games. So let's try to see if that actually works out in the future. It's only been a couple of weeks, so this will all work out in the long run. Obviously, he's going to take the mech captain, right? The mech captain gives you the ability to do full rerolls, which is very strong. And he has 21 units. He also has Zagrod, Beast Boss on Squigosaur, of course, because everybody wants to take a Beast Boss on Squigosaur now and plug him into a Commandos unit. And just full transparency, right? I have been hearing a lot of judges in the background, the individuals like myself, right, who are tournament organizers, things like that, frowning upon things like this. Now, that's not official. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that Games Workshop is going to put the Nerf hammer on it, or help it out with a buff or whatever it might be, right? But that's just my opinion and a lot of other people's opinions, that it's just silly. It might end up being by intent, but just be very, very careful that an FAQ errata drops very soon, detailing that you might not be able to actually do that, right? Trying to bring logic into Games Workshop is very challenging sometimes, so I just steer away from it. I'm not a games rules developer, right? I don't do rules as intended. I do rules as written. So currently at my events, I will allow it. Do I think that it's going to end up being the thing that sticks around and GW doesn't touch it? I highly doubt that. I think they're actually going to put some attention to that and make sure that they rectify that, because it might get ridiculous, or maybe just the aesthetics of having a Squigosaur in a commando unit is just stupid to them. I don't know. I think it's pretty awesome. I hope you enjoy yourself if that's what you're doing. And this is what this individual might be doing himself. So also, we have a Big Mech and Mega Armor, which we talked about on top, which is our actual Warlord. Another Big Mech with SAG, right? The shock attack gun. So he has two of them. He has a Death Killer War Trike, which a lot of people have been talking about in this tactical brigade as well, can be plugged into the commandos, different units, things that you can not normally attach to these units. People are taking advantage of that and actually doing it. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm promoting all this. I'm just letting you know the ins of and outs of the competitive scene. I'm letting you know every detail, what people are doing. That doesn't mean for you to do it or for you not to do it. Try it out. Ask your tournament organizer. Ultimately, it's really up to the tournament organizer if he's going to allow it. So, Death Killer War Trike is pretty awesome. Of course, you got to have a war boss. What Mork's Kunnin in there, right? So he's going to have 4 units of 5 Storm Boys, right? Similar to something of what I'm running as well. So pretty cool to see that. He's also got the Breaker Boys, which I'm also running in my list as well. I think Breaker Boys are absolutely amazing with their damage 3 weapons. Specifically, one of them, the tank hammer, giving you the ability to do dev wounds as well in the fight phase. Very, very strong. You can definitely take all these anti-vehicle, anti-monster 4-up and kill a ton of them, right? And do some dev wounds to them, things like that. And they can punch up very well, even though they don't have high strength. But with that anti-vehicle, anti-monster, they could end up doing very well. And of course, right, staple unit is going to be 10 flash kits, 22 Gretchen. I can guarantee you that's going to be plugged in with Zagrod, right? 10 commandos. I couldn't tell you what he's going to attach to this unit, but I did tell you the options for that. Or maybe he just left them alone because they become very expensive with a character, right? Once you start thinking about it, you're like, oh yeah, I could put a Squigosaur in there. Oh yeah, I could put a war boss in there. Oh wow, this is pretty pricey. This is like 250, almost 300 points just for this unit. Well, put a beast boss in there. Maybe that helps. That's my thoughts at least. Also, he brought tank busters, 2 units of tank busters. Oh, yep, 2 units of tank busters. I'm sorry, this entire army builder is all clogged. They don't have any spaces and things like that. So actually trying to find what units is in here, it's a slight challenge. Good thing that I know this entire army, right? So I can pick things out. He also has Squighog Boys in here. Only 4 of them. I would put the Beast Balls on Squigosaur into that unit. Of course, it makes them better. Also, 3 War Bikers. He might attach them to the War Trike. Maybe not. Maybe he keeps them separate. Maybe they become some of those flanking pieces, holding objective pieces because they have high movement, things like that, where they have the opportunity late game to get objectives throughout the game. So maybe that's how he was using it. But we as Ork players try to philosophize all this and try to figure out, hey, what time do I do this? When do I execute any of my moves to hold objectives and whatnot? Right? Hopefully, and if you ever have any questions, hopefully I see you one day and I'll give you an entire breakdown with no problems to my best knowledge, right? I've won a couple GTs, I've won a couple super majors in my time, in my lifetime, but that's neither here or there. That doesn't mean that I'm an amazing player. That just means that I'm a dedicated Warhammer 40K player, right? So, and also into this list, he brought 2 trucks. You know, I would assume that he's going to put the 2 units of tank buses in there because they can't, or they're probably not going to have any characters attached to them, and the 10 flash kits into the other one. Or maybe he puts the tank buses with the breaker boys in there, which um, becomes 12 models. I don't know if they've rectified the whole transport capacity for the trucks yet, like they have for all the Space Marines, or if they will. Hopefully they do. To be quite honest with you, since they're upping up all these units now for orcs, instead of having 5 or 10, and now they're doing 6, and you can attach a character for 7, they really need to start upping these transports capacity up to 14, just like they're doing for the Space Marines to help them out. The Impulsor now can take 7 or something like that, right? But I know it can take 6 and a character in there, or if not more than that, 7, 2 characters. So hopefully they give us that opportunity as well in the future. So it's very nice to have these Storm Boys in here because they're going to advance in charge. You have their battle line, obviously. You're going to have the opportunity to potentially do orders. So that's what that War Trike might actually be doing, is issuing orders to these Storm Boy, a single Storm Boy unit, because you can only issue 2 orders to 1 unit, and he's only 1 character. That might actually be happening, right? That would be my thought process of actually using them, because they do become unassisted. People are really taking these Storm Boys now in their army list because they're battle line and they're really good and really cheap, right? And they have the opportunity to do benefit you in a lot of ways when it comes to secondaries. So very nice to see 4 units of Storm Boys, Breaker Boys, Flash Kits. Flash Kits have a ton of shots, uh, giving them the opportunity to bring a guy back every command phase and re-roll full shots is absolutely amazing, and giving them orders as well. Good enhancement gives them the full re-rolls, and then you can still get 2 orders, right? So, and if you happen to fail your leadership test with the big mech in that unit and mega armor, and you kill a guy, you just bring them back next command phase. So that's another thing about the orders that he will definitely help you out with. The big mech and mega armor is give you the ability to res a model every single command phase. And what's sweeter than a 4+ invulnerable save on a unit of flash kits, right? So pretty sweet. Congratulations to Damian Hall for performing so well. He actually came in, let's go ahead and go back to that. He came in 3rd place overall at this GT. Congratulations to him. Hopefully, if he hears this, he reaches out to me. He lets me know exactly how he kind of did things throughout the game. And hopefully he continues to do well throughout all of his competitive scenes. And we're going to jump into another army list here, and I'll be right back. All right, on to the next Ork detachment, the Tactical Brigade. Continuing on with that, I want to make sure that people understand this detachment very well, right? Try to give you as much as my insight as possible, as long as I can. So this individual, so this is Hammer in the new year 2025. And just a reminder, right? All of these events ended up happening the weekend of the 5th and 6th of January, or prior to that, maybe Friday and Monday as well. I know there were at least 2 or 3 days long for all 5 of these rounds. So this is something brand new, completely recent. Hopefully we continue to see this trend where we're moving up but a lot of Orks detachments, specifically the Tactical Brigade, has been doing very well. I think it's a lot of new stuff as well to the opponent, so they don't know entirely what they're dealing with. You might not understand entirely what you're dealing with as well, and Orks can actually get you in a very good position because they have a lot of models. And if you start staging, positioning, and doing movements properly, and you already know all those fundamentals, you can do very well with this new detachment. So, congratulations to Brandon Van Dang Eng, Nova Elite Wargaming. And I don't mean to laugh at this individual's name. I laugh because it's so many, like Van Dang Eng, right? So shout out to Brandon. Congratulations to this individual as well. This individual, his second to last game, which was Jonas Birdsley, right? He ended up having a slew of some text here. So you can pause this and read his text if you want to. A lot of people have been doing this as of recently. But this was Necrons. So the only game he lost against was Necrons. Just so you're aware, I want to make sure that you understand exactly every single opponent that he lost against. Winning, right? You know that if I'm not telling you those units or that faction rather, then you know what we're losing to, and that's really what we need to be paying attention to. So he lost to Necrons, and of course, there's 1,000 destroyers in here as well. All right. So give me 1 second. We're actually going to go to his list, the Ork list, and break that down. All right. So this is his list. Weird science. Quite appropriate, right? And this individual is probably dating himself. Weird Science was an old movie back in the days. I want to say like the late 80s, early 90s. Uh, go check it out. Go check it out. It's it might not be entertaining nowadays with SD vision, right? Or just low pixelation and how it was back in the days. But you actually might like it. But if you know about Weird Science, then you know it's basically a Frankenstein story. So I like that very much. This is this is Brandon's Ork Tactical Brigade. This is 2,000 points exactly. So he's taking a beast boss with him and taking the squad leader. He's taking a big mech with a SAG, of course, and he has the enhancement for the mech captain. So he himself is Badrook, right? Boss Snickrot, of course. How appropriate for him to be in a Blood Axe detachment. Gazgul Thraka. I don't know how that's working out. I know they used to restrict us back in the days, so I'm dating myself as well when I talk about that. But having Gazgul Thraka here is pretty awesome. I'm glad that they don't actually restrict that. A War Boss, a Weird Boy with Mork's Cunning, very nice, and Zogrod Wartsnaga, of course. So he has one unit of 21 boys, right? You have the 20 boys and then, or sorry, 19 boys and then the knob itself. And Gretchen are going to have 22 models for 20 models, which he's probably most likely 100% going to plug this into Zogrod and attach it to that unit. And another unit just to get you free CP, right? And another unit just to get you free CP, just in case the other unit didn't get your free CP. He's also taking a battle wagon, Zap gun, art case. So as soon as you see that art case, you know he's not taking Gazgul in there. All right. So he's taking a bunch of other things. He's probably taking the flash kits in there. And he actually does have 20 flash kits. So he's taking 2 units of flash kits. So I'm going to go on a limb here and say that Boss Mech, the big mech with SAG, is being attached to one of them, maybe another one. I don't know how it would benefit it, but we'll look at the rest of the units and try to figure out entirely. Commandos, he's either putting it with Snickrot or Snickrot is just running by himself. Usually I just do Snickrot, Boss Snickrot. Let me make sure that I give him his title, right? Boss Snickrot actually is super amazing by himself. I think he's better by himself because he's a smaller model, right? He's just a single model on a 40 millimeter base. You can throw him in the back 40, get behind enemy lines, or just harass units on the enemy deployment zone objective marker, things like that. And he actually has 20 commandos as well. He also has mega knobs in here. Mega knobs are for sure going to go to Gazgul Thraka to be his potential bodyguards, and then 2 units of 5 Storm Boys each. All right. So this individual actually doesn't have a lot of units in there, but he has a lot of pressure units. He has a ton of models and a ton of pressure units. So the Battle Wagon, Flash Gifts 2020, he's probably, putting all Flash Gifts inside of the Battle Wagon, right? You're not going to take Commandos. You want to put them on the board. You can't put Gazgo in there with the Mega Knobs. So that's a no-go. You're not going to do Storm Boys because why? You lose a lot of speed out of that, right? So if anything, he's putting both Flash Gate units inside the Battle Wagon and giving them all the opportunity in the world to hop out and just shoot things and destroy and murder things, right? So I really like this list. Congratulations to Brandon once again. This individual ended up winning 4 out of his 5 games as well. So performing very well. I like to give people the benefit of doubt, even if they're expert players, where we're still learning this. We're still learning how to use a detachment against new current detachments, old detachments, things like that. So this is going to be a transition in all of January where we're really trying to figure out our new either Grotmis detachment or if we're staying with our old detachments / codexes, and using those currently and trying to figure out what the new meta is going to be shaping out to be in a couple of months, right? So a unit of boys, so either the war boss or the weird boy is attached to that unit. There's a lot of things in here he could end up attaching to select units, right? And shoot, he might even put the weird boy into the commandos unit. I don't know, right? um, I know that can get pretty weird, but he might be doing that entirely. Yeah. Sorry for that pause real quick, but I just want to kind of think it out. I don't want to give you wrong information, but it looks like that. And we can't really see what's attached to what anyway. So this is all speculation and trying to figure it out and use my mind and how I would actually use this list. But performed very well. Only ended up losing to Necrons. I mean, he does not have a lot of elite, high toughness, good save units in here other than Gazgul and the Mega Knobs, right? To really survive that amount of destroyers, that amount of shooting that the new Necrons attachment has, that Shatter, Star Assault, or whatever it's called, is pretty nasty. You're probably going to end up seeing that's going to be one of the top tier, S tier, if not the S tier detachment coming out. But anyways, we're Orks players. We're here to stomp them and make sure that we win. And hopefully he wins his next game against that individual that was playing that. So very nice list. Congratulations to him. Uh, Nothing that I would actually do with the double combos of commandos and the flash kits, but I'm not against it. I completely like it. I like what this individual is doing, and I hope he continues to perform very well in the future. And good luck. And thank you for allowing us to see your list, and you performing very well. And we're going to go on to the very last Tactical Brigade detachment list, and we're going to break down and give you my insight on that one as well. All right, on to the last army list. This is the Everwinter Winter Assault ITC Major. Obviously, a major, so probably 100 people plus. Guard ended up taking this entirely all the way to the top, took that championship, um, award, and enjoyed himself. But once again, we're here to talk about Orks. one place higher than Alex. I don't know who this individual is, but it must be a pun. His good friend of his, but I like the name. And individual was playing with Orks. Once again, only one loss out of 5 games. And this was his 3rd game, losing to Zach Point. Zach Point was actually playing Necrons as well. So we might start seeing a trend that Orks may not be able to play, or specifically this detachment may not be able to play very well into Necron's detachment, the Star Shatterer Arsenal. I said Assault earlier, Star Shatterer Arsenal. This is S tier, right? So hopefully things get rectified where we can get back to a very normal place. We're in a very fantastic meta, very balanced meta is what I wanted to say, right? And hopefully this doesn't throw us all out of whack. But Necrons are doing very well. They have easy ways of winning and a ton of shooting, right? So give me 1 second. We're going to break down that 3rd Ork Army detachment for the Tactical Brigade. All right. So Tactical Brigade. This one has a Beast Boss character, which is his Warlord. And he's taking Mork's Cunning for this one. He also has another Beast Boss, a Big Mech and Mega Armor. Big Mech and Mega Armor, of course, has the Mech's Captain. So he is Captain Battlerook himself. Big Mech with Sags, 2 of them, and a War Boss as well. So we're going to look through this list and see exactly what he might be attaching to what, and maybe what helped him or didn't assist him in winning that game against Necrons, other than it being S tier, right? So he has 20 and 20 Beast Snaggle Boys. I'm assuming he's going to put one of the Beast Boss into one of those units. 10 Storm Boys, nice fat unit of 10 Storm Boys. Another unit of 5 Storm Boys as well. A unit of 10 Flash Kits, 11 Gretchen, 2 units of those. No Zagrod, so he doesn't need to go for 22. 1 fat unit of Knobs for the War Boss to be attached to. Some Tank Busters, 2 units of actual Tank Busters. A Battle Wagon and a truck as well, right? So Knobs, Flash Kits, all inside the Battle Wagon, and you have a devastating, and I mean devastating SWAT team. You're talking about between those 2 units coming out, hopping out of that Battle Wagon, shooting you with all of those guns with the Mech Captain enhancement on the Big Mech and Mega Armor, right? And then a War Boss attached to 10 Knobs for close combat is devastating for your opponent. It will damn near kill anything, if not kill anything in the entire game, right? Very, very strong. I can see him potentially doing that. Once again, I don't know if I've stated this about this individual, Stephen Pamprine, but Stephen Pamprine actually did very well for this event. So congratulations to him for doing so well at this event. Hopefully he continues to do well in the future as well and continues to do even better. Maybe he gets to watch this video and tells me how wrong I am about how he kind of used it or why he lost. Or maybe he just dropped the ball. But I'm very optimistic. I'm always going to blame something else other than us Ork players, right? So I liked it. Obviously, those are staple units with the 2 units of Gretchen, the Knobs, the Flash Kits, right? I really like this list. This is something that maybe I would try. I've actually been thinking about doing 2 units of 6 Tank Busters. I've heard some demoralizing things where people have been saying that they don't perform that well. But remember, don't take people's word for it every single time. All right. Sometimes maybe the writing is on the wall. You probably just shouldn't do it because it's not a good idea, whatever it might be in life. Right. But if he's using, right, all these Tank Busters, he won 4 out of 5 games. He must have been doing pretty well with these 2 units, especially at 120 points each. Right. And there's abilities to help him out with the orders, the stratagems, their innate abilities to have anti-vehicle, anti-monster 4-ups for their rockets. So they are very target specific, a type of unit where they target a specific type of units rather, and go out there and destroy those units. I really like units like that. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking to yourself, well, I want a unit that's able to basically take all comers. Well, I mean, if you get a hit by strength 9, AP 2, 3 damage flat rockets, I think it will take I'll take out just about anything in the game. That's a lot of damage, a lot of shots, single shots, right? That's 12, might be 12 or 10 shots between the two units, depending on what they're kitting out with. So 5 tank busters, rocket launcher, and rocket pistol and smash hammer. Yeah, so you have the potential to have 12 shots. One are at closer range, of course, right? But 12 shots and really destroying some stuff, some vehicles and monsters. So hopefully that was the case in this individual's game. Hopefully he did very well. He continues to do well. But I really like this list. I really, really do. Maybe he has the beast boss, or has the opportunity, right, to put the beast boss and the beast snaggers in the battle wagon instead, and then put a unit of something else inside the truck. Maybe he's putting the knobs inside of a truck, and he's hopping out with the beast snagger boys and the flash kits. So nice list. Congratulations to this individual once again, and continue to do well. But yeah, this was the end of all of the lists. Hopefully I was able to help you out with a little bit of understanding of how to break down these new detachments, things like that, and really see how to plug them in, how to attach them to certain units, how they can be effective with certain units, what can be used on certain units, things like that, right? So give me 1 second. Thank you so much to everyone who participated and watched to the very end. Hopefully I gave you the opportunity to answer the question, why aren't you playing this? I think that this new Ork detachment is really, really good. We still need more time, more data to figure out if this is better than Warhorde, if this is better than Bully Boys, or maybe we should all just jump ship and go onto the big hunt. I'm joking. We know that one is okay, but definitely not better than the other three, including the new, that includes the new one, right? So thank you so much as always. Once again, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Onslaught Gaming 40K platform. As always, thank you for your support. Hopefully you have a wonderful new year, and it's amazing to basically communicate, and hopefully I get to see everybody here in the near future, right? Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. And don't forget, Onslaught Gaming 40K, where victory is just a strategy away. And most importantly, war!